What movie is really sad when told from the villain's perspective? Baby's father in Dirty Dancing. Dude just wants to have a nice family vacation. Mrs. Doubtfire, because imagine how scared Pierce Brosnan was when Mrs. Doubtfire tried to kill him with pepper. Prince Nuada from Hellboy, The Golden Army. He's the prince of a dying race of Phi. Has to see his father lead his kind into darkness and obscurity, and then see humanity tear down everything he loved for their own greed, expansion. His speech about how the world will never see the likes of the elemental forest god was heartbreaking. B-movie Tears of Joy. A bee stole this man's girlfriend. Jaws. Bruce is just trying to be a shark, man. Sound of Music. Not the Nazis obviously, but the Baroness. Imagine you're a wealthy, savvy, child-free woman open-minded enough to date a sulking widower with a billion children he ignores in favor of travel and partying. In other words, your lifestyle. You're not into kids, but you try to be a presence in their lives when he finally deigns to introduce you to them. Same time he announces that he's marrying you. So he's a super great father. You put on a cheerful face anyway. And when it's apparent the kids hate you, you are a stranger after all. You consider sending them to boarding school where they might benefit from, say, structure and attention and schooling that they are not getting at home from their father. Endless rotating nannies. Then the super virginal, younger au pair moves in, and your boyfriend suddenly decides he is totally into being father of the year again after his Austrian Rumspringa, and dumps you. Austin Powers. Dr. Evil's upbringing is tragic. The details of my life are quite inconsequential. My father was a relentlessly self-improving boulangerie owner from Belgium with low-grade narcolepsy and a penchant for buggery. My mother was a 15-year-old French prostitute named Chloe with webbed feet. My father would womanize. He would drink. He would make outrageous claims like he invented the question mark. Sometimes he would accuse chestnuts of being lazy. The sort of general malaise that only the genius possess and the insane lament. The Land Before Time. That Trex just needed to eat. General Francis X, Hummel from The Rock, joins the military at a young age and believes that he's fighting for his country and commands several special clandestine operations for the government, and his men get killed because they were black ops. The US government doesn't give their families any benefits. It doesn't recognize them as having even served. And they don't even get military funerals. Hummel pleads with the government to recognize these men and that they fought and died to further America's interests, and he even goes before Congress to ask for the funds. They tell him to kick rocks. When his wife dies, he's had enough and feels he has to force their hand through taking hostages and threatening to launch VX poison gas rockets at population centers. He has no intent to go along with this plot. It's just a bluff. Les Miserables. Javert was born inside a jail, and we see repeatedly how unforgiving Paris is to children without a support system and the destitute. He miraculously manages to work his way from that to a respectable middle-class job. And that's before Jean Valjean shows up and becomes the greatest failure of his career, eventually driving him to suicide. The bad people in this just want to live on the surface. Opening parenthesis. The movie was pretty bad, but gore in Thor: Love and Thunder was really sad. Meet the Robinsons. Anton Ego in Ratatouille. He gets a redemption arc, so he comes out not the villain, but dude is the epitome of a narcissist and food critic. I like to think his story is really complex. that he had aspirations to become a great chef with gusto. But that is the one time that chef said that someone couldn't cook. I want to see the story where he gets all tatted up and is a tryhard on the line but can't keep up with service and can't remember recipes. The reason he is a critic is because he thinks he is better than all else. The reason he is in turtlenecks is to hide his throat ink. It'd be such a good story. Billy Madison. Eric Gordon might have been an asshole, but he devoted years of his life working for Madison Hotels, working his way up to become the boss's right-hand man, only for the boss's idiot son to take over because he managed to get a basic education. If you think about it, most romance movies that center on the main character being in love with a person in a relationship, the villain is a person acting defensive and jealous, because the main character keeps trying to make moves on their partner and their partner allows it. Their partner then emotionally cheats and leaves them for the person they shouldn't be worried about. But that's okay because they're not the MC and they were mean a few times to the MC for being a skeeve. Blade Runner. And it works either way, if you see Batty as the villain or Deckard. Kato from the Hunger Games. He's been brainwashed to believe that the games are an honor. He's trained his whole life. But then he gets into the arena and it's a lot of killing and awfulness. Then he loses, dies a long death, and all his preparation and fanboying isn't worth anything. Spider-Man 3. Alien. Just trying to raise some kids.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.